Well, here's an update on my contour garden. Wow, look at that tomato. You could also call it gardening with tires, I guess. It's not so obviously on a contour now because I've got everything spread so far out. But there's been no... Now guys have mowed this. They mowed my barley off 3 or 4 times. That's barley, and I planted barley and clover there. But the tires are working fine. You know, it's going to spread right out. I had intended to mow it. Yeah, there you can see. I'd intended to mow it, but not so carefully. They used a string trimmer and did so good work. I experimented here. In these I put corn, a bean, and a pumpkin seed, just right in the same hole. Looks like the pumpkin seed took over. Now I thought that this spring was going to run year round, but it doesn't. It just runs when it's really wet. But that's okay, because in a contour garden like this, when it rains hard, since everything's on a perfect contour, they fill and then let the water soak into the ground, and they also drain. So I think it's a good way to garden. Wow. Now I have done no plowing, I did no rototilling, I did no hoeing, and I have not touched a hose. I did a little bit of watering with a watering can when I first put the plants in. So there you've got an update on this version of contour gardening. I put potatoes in here. I had a bunch. I didn't know what to do with. That's what's under the hay. But I don't see any evidence of the potatoes. Maybe they won't come. A couple didn't do well. That didn't do well, and there's 1 or 2 seeds that didn't come up. All right, well, there you've seen it. Well, I'm going to show you a second take on a contour garden out there. This is a pinetum, and I'll show you more about this later as a project. It needs to be weeded, and then you'll be able to see what it is. Yeah, I'll tell you more about that later. A pinetum, P-I-N-E-T-U-M. But anyway, here is another contour garden, and once again I've used tires. Now this was kind of an afterthought. I did this kind of quick. Each tire in the center will be a pool. Now this ground is not good ground. It's like gardening on a slab of concrete. But I piled up buckets of some sort of topsoil. I used tires again. And I began to use rugs as mulch. And the potatoes are coming. We'll have to see how this goes. I think it'll work. But anyway, it is over there to balance with the pinetum, and I do have to weed everything. Over there will be a collection of very small spring flowering shrubs. That's my plan for that. Here you can see, if you don't understand, it's a contour garden. Right out there goes a ditch, contour ditch, and right out there goes one that'll water the pinetum. And here's the second one. And as a project, there goes another contour ditch, and there's another up there. But as a project, that's what I'm going to call this, a project. Here is a silo, what's left of a silo, which I'll show you more later on. I'm going to fill this with water. I noticed in Portugal, and well, it makes sense, a lot of gardens had tanks for when it got dry. But I'll show you more about that when, as I say, as a project. That's going to be a new part of my course. Fun. We're talking fun here. Still another update. There's the beast. When I went to Europe, I did not have time to put this floor, the remains of a house trailer, on it, but I'm getting ready. I'm going to build a ramp, and I'm going to pull it over. That will also be a project. There's nothing wrong. If you hear a cat meowing, that's nothing wrong with that cat. He just does that. So anyway, here's an example of extreme recycling. That's sort of the way I live, actually. But going in here, still something else to show you. We're getting kind of personal here because you're going inside my shop, which needs repair. My neighbor brought this stuff. What the heck do you do with that stuff? Look at that. It's all full of holes. Huh. What do you do with that? He brought that and he said, here, I'll give you this. I thought, oh, great. What do I do with that? But what I found out was if you saw it in half, you can use it again and use it even better. I'm really not quite ready to show you all this, but it actually works better because when you use something round as a drain, the bottom always fills. So the top's the only part that's any good. Now, you might remember this place this is where I taught my first year, down here in the barn. There was my classroom. It's like going down memory lane. There's my blackboard. There's my charts. And the barn swallows are here again. I've thought about coming back here and teaching a class just for old time's sake. But I think a lot of this stuff is going to fall in the domain of projects. Okay, maybe I'll show you one other thing. I'm processing. No, I should show you that too. I'm using pallets. There are some pallets. I should go up and show you what I've been doing with pallets. But I had them stored here in snakeskin. Black snake, probably. Alright, that's it for here. Down in the shop I mentioned pallets. I was doing stuff with pallets and I thought it might be worth showing you this. I let the cows eat on each end of these bales now. And but this ground is so hard, I'd said it's like cement, that it's hard to put a fence post in. So what I did was I took pallets, I took 3 of them, tied them together, and that's to hold the fence up. I'll electrify this. So in a sense that's a fence post, a movable fence post made out of 3 pallets. Now I have lots and lots of pallets. When I go to town, rather than come home empty, if there's pallets sitting around, I'll put them on the pickup truck and bring them home. I figure I'll find some kind of a use. And I have some leaning there just for in case I need more. One other thing I was going to show you, I'll show you downstairs. I can't do it with one hand, but this is a quick release knot. It's a handy knot to know. I don't think I can tie it with one hand. Maybe I can. Well, I can try. You want the knot, this is baler twine, you want the knot to not interfere with the pulley. Oops. See, what you do is you make your string sort of like a pulley. I think I can do this with one hand. And then you pinch that to hold it. I'm going to use 2 hands. And you just put a little loop around. Sorry. It doesn't help there's a fly buzzing on my head. Okay, and then you pull that tight, and there you've got a quick release knot. It's a really handy knot to know. I might show you that down in the basement with 2 hands. All right, I'll call this extreme recycling using pallets. I've got lots of them. I use them as food for the beast as well. All right, that's it, I guess, for now.